Hey, Jade Blair here, your kind of worker, online and in person. And today I'm going to demystify you on all the myths on hookers. Do escorts kiss their clients? Yeah, usually. I think this is one of the funniest myths out there because it just doesn't make any sense. Right? I am being intimate with the client. They are literally going inside of me. So no, I don't think that kissing is too personal. And you're probably the same. If you've ever had a hookup, a friends with benefits situation, basically been intimate with someone who is not your romantic partner or not your romantic partner yet, you probably still kiss them. Not always, but usually. Honestly, it just heightens the experience. It's a very normal thing to do, and I love it. I think this myth was popularized by Pretty Woman. They never consulted any sex workers when making that movie, so none of it is realistic. In fact, our most common request is kissing, and deep, passionate French kissing. Most escorts do it, and if they don't kiss, it's usually because that escort has their own sensitivities around it. They just don't like the sensation of kissing, or because they don't want to be exposed to the client's germs, because there is health and safety risks in kissing. Of course, any fluids or contact with clients is going to increase our risk of things like colds and flus, but even cavities, because you can actually catch cavities from people if you're kissing them a lot. If they have a lot of cavity bacteria in their mouth and you're swapping saliva with them, that cavity bacteria is going to go in your mouth and leaves you a higher risk of getting a cavity. So some escorts choose not to do it for that reason, but it's not because we find it too personal. Do you have a boyfriend? Well, me personally, no, I don't date. I just am not interested in it at the moment. I'm starting a new job. I have my escorting business. I have my OnlyFans business. I'm on YouTube, and I'm also studying. So I just don't have time for a partner right now. But a lot of escorts very successfully have partners while escorting. A lot have husbands, boyfriends, some have multiple partners because they're polyamorous, and each relationship chooses their own boundaries. Some are completely open in their relationship, so both the escort and the husband can go and see whoever they want, whether that be for work or for fun. Some have rules where the escort can work, but they can't go see anyone else but the partner for fun. And some have rules where the escort can work, and they can both together see other escorts for fun. It completely changes on the couple because that's what a relationship is. It's personal, right? You need to establish expectations and boundaries within your unit. Prostitutes are riddled with diseases. This one is so far from the truth in decriminalized and legalized developed countries. Multiple organizations like Amnesty International, World Health Organizations, the Michael Kirby Institute have all found that sex workers in these areas have the lowest rates of STIs out of any group. And this is because it's our job, right? We can't work if we get sick. So we make sure that we're very educated on what STIs are and how to prevent them. So we have the highest rates of condom and other prophylactic use. So this includes gloves and dental dams and female condoms. We also have the highest rates of testing for everything, including getting your throat tested and backdoor bloods, urines, and swabs. We also employ a lot of sexual health safety techniques that a lot of people just don't even think about. Making sure there's no cross-contamination. If I'm touching a client bare, I'm going to touch it with this hand, and if I'm touching myself bare, I'm touching it with this hand, and never the two shall meet. I'm also going to use condoms for mouth things and visually check my client for any obvious signs of STIs. In fact, we have lower rates of STIs than 60-year-old grandmas in nursing homes. And HIV has never ever been caught from sex worker to client or vice versa in Australia, ever. It was safer coming to a sex worker than having a hookup on the Gold Coast, statistically speaking. I think a lot of this stigma came about mostly from Christian panic-driven propaganda, but also because we love to other promiscuous women, right? Like we're to be virginal until marriage. So any woman who isn't, we demonize her and make her out to be someone that isn't even human and can't have human wants or desires. Because let me tell you, I am human and I do have human wants and desires. I do not want to get sick. What human wants to get sick? We have the same safety concerns around STIs that you do, and so we implement all the measures, and it blows people's minds that we do this, but they forget that we're human too. We want the same things you do. Prostitutes don't pay tax. This one is so not true. Personally, I paid over 40 grand in various taxes and fees last financial year. And think about it, it makes sense that sex workers pay taxes, because how on earth are you supposed to literally exist, let alone thrive in society, without having a documented paper trail of your earnings? You can't rent a car, buy a car, get any sort of loans, home loans, you can't rent a house, you literally can't get anywhere financially without having proof of income. So to exist in society, we literally have to document our earnings. And if you document it, you're gonna have to pay tax on it, because trust me, the ATO, the Australian Tax Office, will find you. So this whole theory just doesn't make sense. And yes, even sex workers who are working in places where what they're doing is criminal still pay tax. They just don't say how they're getting the money, or they lie about it. They say they're a hairdresser or a makeup artist. In most Western worlds, even if what you're doing is illegal, you still have to pay money on your earnings. And the court documents are quite funny. Many a drug dealer has been caught not because of what they've been doing, but because they didn't declare their earnings. So sex workers as a whole absolutely pay tax. And of course, there's going to be a bad apple in the bunch, just like there is in every industry. There's always got to be people who just straight up don't pay any tax or don't pay their fair share. I'm looking at you, millionaires and billionaires. But just because a couple people do it doesn't mean that you should paint everyone with the same brush. It is a really harmful and offensive stigma, and really shows just how little you think of sex workers and how you're implying and believe that we are immoral and refusing to contribute to society, which is just not true. In fact, most escorts these days only take bookings via electronic means, meaning bank transfers, and cash is slowly being phased out in every industry, including this one. So let's just stop this stereotype. No sex worker chooses to go into the sex industry. Well, this is very wrong, because by definition, the sex worker has to be there consensually of their complete free will, because if they're not there of free will, it's not sex work, it's rape. And that is very different and very wrong. People choose this industry for a whole wide variety of reasons. Personally, I love being my own boss. I love if I have a creative idea or inspiration to just be able to go and do it and not have to convince a team of 10 people over months to see my vision happen. I love being able to take days off when I want to, not have to answer to anyone. I love having flexibility. I love being able to pick my own rates and hours. I love having no pressure from upper management to do things that I don't want to do, whether that be working really long hours or in unsafe conditions. And I'm not referring to working for a manager in sex work. I'm actually thinking of my very first job in a bakery where the boss's son threw knives at me. I love making people happy. I love getting orgasms and not having to wear pants during my workday. So there's a lot of really good reasons why people would want to be in this industry, and sometimes the reasons are for survival. Sometimes it's not that the person is being forced into this industry, but they do feel like it is their best way to get ahead financially, and that is the only reason they are there. And as soon as they have enough money, they will leave the industry, and that is so okay and so valid. Most people, all people, go to work for money. It's the same in this industry. But let me know if you can think of any more myths and comment down below.